Good evening. We are live. Welcome. I thought I'd do a very calm hello. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? This is a bit bright. Let me tone it down. Just having a look at the chat. Who have we got? It's nice and busy already. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're having a lovely weekend. And I thought I'd just give you a bit of an update as I've been a little bit quiet. Um, and that's because I've been working on a short documentary film for the LGB Alliance, and that's taken up quite a bit of time, as well as some other little bits and bobs for them. So that's out of the way now. And I also went to the Netherlands to see my family, whom I hadn't seen since Christmas 2019. So that was just, it was really good to be home again for a week. And in the week that I was there, they were debating self ID in the Dutch parliament. So that led to some interesting conversations back at home as well. So I'll just, oh, my tea is brewing. There we go. And so much has happened. It's like just trying to keep up with stuff. It's so hard. The last time, because I haven't even talked about Brighton, and that already feels like a long time ago. That protest there, or the Kelly J's event in Brighton. Let me just have a look at the chat. Hi, Catherine. Hello, Lida, Miss Misery Gloom, VF555, Dangerous Rhetoric, Wayward Westra, Anna Maria, Leslie Farrington. Hi, Leslie. How are you doing? Toucan players asking, are the Dutch maintaining their sanity? Well, it's one thing talking about all this woo-woo stuff in English, but in Dutch, it seems twice as mad, because I always thought, I guess I romanticize the idea of Holland because I've been away for so long, and I'm like, surely the Dutch won't fall for any of this stuff because we're way too down to earth for this. And then you read about this in Dutch, and you hear them talking in Parliament about it in Dutch, and it just seems twice as crazy. And Leslie, you're saying that you've got your own channel now. Oh, excellent! I'll check that out. So, the words that we use in Dutch for these things has been really interesting to see what words do they use, because some words we don't have in Dutch, like we don't have a word for gender in terms of gender identity and stuff. So we just say gender, but with the Dutch twist. So we say gender to make it suitably Dutch. It just doesn't make any sense. Um, and the word for sex, not the act of sex, but your physical sex, is geslacht, which is another lovely Dutch word, geslacht. Slachten as a verb means slaughtering, and a slaughterhouse in Dutch is slachthuis. So geslacht kind of sounds like it's the way you've been slaughtered. It's the way you've been butchered by nature. And to talk about, like, the Dutch term for sex change is geslachtsverandering. It's that it's even clearer that that's just not possible, that you just can't do it. And yet, so many people all seem to be carried away with this stuff. So there's quite a bit of work to be done there as well. Zoe Evans says, Kalispera. Are you Greek, Zoe? Kalispera. Let me just have a sip of my tea. Too hot. Oh, it's too hot. Anyways, so there are so many videos that I want to make. I've got about 15 on my list, but because things are happening so fast and it's hard to keep up with everything, I might drop some. I might, choose not to do some. But the first one I want to do is about that piss protests, the pissed off trannies, right? The one that poured piss all over himself outside the offices of the EHRC. I thought there's definitely a song in there. So it's not going to be a big, full blown song like Y Chromosome, but I definitely want to want to make some effort, and I'm working on the mask because he had this weird sort of mask with lips, and I thought, ugh, how do I do that? But I've got this, which I saw at H&M the other day. I think it's just for like a kid's room where you just have, it's like a basket bunny thing. But look what happens if you put it on sideways. Oh, calling out to the EHRC, we are pissing in the streets. So I just need to put like a weird mouth on it and make some holes for the eyes. So I'll be doing that next week. I also saw that Owen Jones had a bit of a rant while he was on holiday, like a 10-minute rant about how TERFs are evil or something like that. So I want to do a response to him where I'll pitch it as gay men versus queer men, because I think it's so important that we really make that distinction about what queer, the whole queer community and queer culture, whatever you want to call it, and actual, homosexuals, gays and lesbians. And that we're Tish, sorry, just saw Tish in the chat. I've just been going through your posts about Christine Burns and that book of his, and you've written like 5 pieces about it. So I went through 3 of them. So I'm still digesting. I mean, there's so much to keep up with. It's crazy. 2 things that happened that are on the legal front is I want us to say congratulations for Women Scotland. They challenged the Scottish government because the government there wanted to redefine what woman is in law, and For Women Scotland challenged that, and they won. And the Scottish government now has to pay him out about £150,000 to cover the legal fees. This is all taxpayers' money, so I think it's a good message to go out that if you vote for the SNP, if the party that you vote for doesn't honor women's rights and what a woman is going to cost you, basically. And For Women Scotland, I've met the team a couple of times. They're fantastic. So I'm really pleased that they did this and that they won and that they'll get that money paid. They're doing such important work, and don't underestimate all the work that goes into, forgetting the words, mounting a legal challenge like that. The stress, just all the hours, the energy. Everybody who was part of that crowdfunder, thank you so much, because this is such a big part of the pushback, all these legal challenges. And that's when they can see, don't mess with the Scottish women, don't mess with For Women Scotland. There's another congratulations for Julie Bindel. She sued Nottingham City Council. She was meant to be doing a talk about violence against women and how to prevent it, if I remember correctly. Then the library cancelled that talk because they thought that Julie Bindel's views on transgender rights, as they always position it, weren't compatible with their equality and diversity and inclusion, blah, 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 guidelines. So again, I think, oh God, we saw a similar thing with, was it Essex University, where the Reindorf report found that, if you follow Stonewall's guidance, then basically you could risk, you risk your reputation. That wasn't the legal challenge, I guess. But I think the message is becoming clearer and clearer and clearer by all these challenges. If you side with the woo-woos, it's going to cost you money and it's going to cost your reputation. And we're seeing that, obviously, especially now, or the ones who are finding that out are the people who've, or the organizations who've supported Stonewall in recent years, and mermaids. Oh my days. What a ride. I mean, and this is just a couple of weeks. The tribunal, Mermaids versus LGB Alliance. I mean, I was watching that live and I just couldn't believe this the shit they come out with at a tribunal. But the most heartbreaking, and I think the most important moment, was when Kate Harris was being asked by the barrister for mermaids. Basically, he didn't phrase it like that, but basically, can a man not become a lesbian? Um, and she broke down in tears. Um, I might do another video about that because for a barrister to think that at a tribunal it's a legitimate question to ask, like that's where we are. And this is how serious a threat all this stuff is to what we 5 minutes ago all knew to be true, but also to the concepts that are written into law, like sex and like homosexuality, that they think that they can just act like that's not true anymore, or like it's not there, or they can just challenge it, which also means, I mean, we're seeing this all the time, obviously, where they're trying to replace sex with gender and all that bullshit, that they think they can just do it. Like this it's perfectly fine and legitimate. And it's like, no, but and that to me says if they can take sex completely out, they will. And the dafties are always saying, "Oh, they're trying to take our rights away. They're trying to take our rights away." No, no, they are trying to take our rights away. Ugh. Everything with them is always upside down, which is why we just have to turn it back around. Which brings me to my little protest last week. So, a friend of mine, a lesbian woman, had been to a show and she went along to support one of her friends who is performing in the show. The show is called Groove, and this is one of the flyers. Groove. What is it? It's a theater show, a brand new performance exploring the queer dance floor as a place of protest, identity, belonging, and desire. Okay. Um, Based on the real stories and testimonies of LGBTQ plus people across generations, Groove is a brand new performance exploring the dance floor as a place of protest, okay, like I just said, identity, belonging, and desire, embracing what it means to be queer. What, like a straight man putting nail polish on? Now, then, now, and in the future. Blah, 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 blah. This show is funded by Community Fund, which is the National Lottery, and also the Arts Council, England. Um, so obviously, you know what time it is, as we say in Dutch. Or is that an English expression? You know what? I've lived here so long, I can't remember what's English and what's Dutch anymore sometimes. Anyways, so my friend messaged me after she'd seen it, and she was just appalled by the show. Because it was all just a propaganda exercise for all this woo woo. She felt the show was very misogynistic and also homophobic. So she just sort of vented her anger to me, and then I was like, "Well, let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's see if there's tickets." There were only 2 more performances left. So and the one thing that really got her is that during the show, an announcement was made where one of the performers, there was a big announcement where, they staged it in a very theatrical way, which I'll come to later, where they basically said, no TERFs, no JK Rowling in this house. They're not welcome. And that really upset my friend. Plus, what she felt were the homophobic undertones, where you had like an older gay character who wore like a gray suit and looked really unhappy, and he didn't find happiness until he wore a dress and a lipstick and a wig, and um, found, discovered transness. Similarly, there was like a butch lesbian who only found happiness when she started declaring that she was non-binary and no longer a butch, not a butch lesbian, but a butch. So I thought, okay, um, that announcement that they made about the no turfs and no J.K. Rowling, was that just maybe something that the performer just sort of said? Was it an ad lib or was it part of the script? I wanted to see in what way that was part of the show and how they were going to deliver that line. Um, so with my friend, we decided to go. And then I asked three others as well, three of the lovely Turven. Um, and they said, yes, we'll go. So I got tickets for all of us. So anyone who supports me via PayPal and Patreon or Super Chat, thank you so much, because that helped me to buy these 5 tickets. So we arrive at the place. And as soon as we get our tickets, or they let us in, there's somebody handing out stickers. Be a trans ally. They had 2 different stickers for that. They also had a sticker saying "Queer Space," which was like a planet with the progress flag stuck on it, with the intersex and all the triangle stuff and all the latest version of it. So, and there were no stickers that said a gay man is a male homosexual, or gay is good, or something about a lesbian is a female homosexual, or obviously they didn't have woman is an adult human female as a sticker. It was all about trans. So they didn't quite ask us to chant the mantras, but it was pretty clear that you had to sort of submit. And here again, this is why I went along, because I thought I really want to go into the belly of the beast and show them, you claim that we're one big happy family or one big community and that you speak for everyone. No, you don't. There are plenty within the community who aren't down with this, and we're going to let you know that right where it matters, right where you're spewing all this bullshit, because I don't think that's what they expect. So got the stickers right. And the other thing is that all this stuff about submitting to it, it's like, have they not looked at gay history and the gay men and the lesbians that fought that? Like, if there's one thing about that history, which I've had to look at for that documentary by the LGBT Alliance, we looked at lots of old footage. When you see those people who came out to fight for gay rights, it's like that was not about being compliant and submissive at all. And somehow that's what they're expecting of us now. It's like, no, hun, that's not going to happen. So then one of my friends, so there were 5 of us, 4 women, 2 lesbians, 2 bisexuals, and then myself as a gay man. So one of them wanted to go to the toilet. There was a choice of 2 toilets, at least if you're a man. So I had a choice of using the male toilet, which had its own male sign, or the all gender bathroom. Okay, so lucky me, I could go wherever I wanted. Now, the all gender bathroom, that was just like a printout of an A4 that they'd stuck on what I'm sure is the actual women's toilet. So there again, first you have to take a sticker, trans ally. Then as a woman, you can't, there's no single sex toilet there for women. What, you have to go next door or find a pub or go somewhere else. So that's all part of this whole setup of this stupid show. So we get into the auditorium. It was a matinee. There's like 30 people there, maybe. I had a look around, and I think there were some in their 20s, but I think most were in their 30s or 40s or older. And the first 7 minutes or so was just dance music. It started off with sort of gentle, floaty, dreamy music. Then a slow beat started to build underneath it, and then oh god, I haven't even told you that. Okay, so the leaflets, right? So we've got the shiny glossy leaflet, and then we've got one specific to the performances in London. So even just like the back of the leaflet, like half of it is just pronouns. Like half of this stuff is just pronouns, pronouns, pronouns everywhere. This pronoun party on steroids or estrogen. In this case, mostly, I think. So we've got 6 performers. One is a he, they. The other is a he, she, they. Another is a they, he. Then we have a they, them. We have a she, her, who is obviously a bloke. And then there's one who just goes by all pronouns. Greedy. And okay, and then also for everybody involved in the show who did voice or the director, the producer, the person who did the movement, the video lighting, and the design, everybody has the pronouns, and everyone is a they, at least. Okay, and then they all have multiple pronouns, so it's all going to be woo. Oh, the all pronouns one made me laugh. Anyway, so they come out on stage, and one by one is gazing in a mirror, the other is sort of stroking a weave, like that guy in Silence of the Lambs style. What's his name? Buffalo Bill. The weave. And then some of them were dancing on their own. Then at one point they sort of get together in a group and strike some poses. This went on for a good 6 minutes, 7 minutes. It was kind of boring. Rob says, put the lotion in the basket. Well, exactly. Now, and that would have been perfect for this performer, Jacob, who's a guy who goes by all pronouns, because in Silence of the Lambs, they went, it puts the lotion on its skin. All pronouns would have said, yay, that's me. I'm all pronouns. Anyways, so then one of the performers, a young woman, they, them, started by saying, that's the first bit of dialogue, which was, we come to the club to get fucked up, to kiss strangers. Somebody said, it puts the pronoun in the basket. Okay, so she said, we come to the club to get fucked up, to kiss strangers, and to forget that sometimes the outside world hates us. And I thought, okay, I can relate to that. You like to just have a good time. You want to kiss strangers, and you want to forget that the outside world hates us. But the way she delivered the line was like a child. She's like, to forget that the outside world hates us. Anyways, this sort of set the whole tone for, well, at least what I saw of the show. They're trying to position this as a place to be free, a place to, just be carefree, let yourself go, have some fun, meet people, and get away from the hate. But as soon as she sort of had that moment, they revealed their own brand of hate at Groove. So the lights focus in on another performer, a man who obviously one of the vulnerable, stunning, and brave ones of the magical lady feels, in a shiny short sequin dress. Spotlight on him shines like a disco ball. There's dance music playing, and the other actors come towards the front of the stage, sort of towards the sides, and they're dancing to the beat, sort of in the dark. So they created this moment. It was very deliberately staged for this to be a very glorious disco, grand sort of moment. So the man adopts a very dramatic pose, like, and then an announcement plays. And this announcement was pre-recorded. It's the man's voice. It's a totally over-the-top announcement. Now, obviously, it's theater, and they're trying to do something very flamboyant and disco and camp and stuff. you could have done that in a deliciously camp way, if you like. But this was just so. Leslie Farrington says disco balls. Those balls are gone, at least for him, um, because he's fully transitioned, right? So it's all gone. Um, the words of the announcement were something along the lines of "Welcome, everyone." So obviously they didn't say "Welcome, ladies and gentlemen," because oh my god, that's so cis normative, heteronormative. Oh my god, binary. Welcome, everyone. Enjoy the what was it? Enjoy the love. Experience the love, the joy, the pain, the pleasure. He said it in such a bizarre way. Obviously, there's lots of reverb on it to make it sound really like booming, and you're in a club, big announcement, brr. Experience the love, the joy, the pain, the pleasure, um, the ecstasy. This house welcomes everyone except. And then they listed all those people that were not welcome on the queer dance floor. Who wasn't welcome? Conservatives, TERFs, Karens, religious bigots, as he said, and J.K. Rowling. And I thought, okay, so this is obviously the moment my friend had mentioned before. So I just thought, this is outrageous to have this kind of, there's you've got your artistic freedom and there's freedom of speech and all that stuff, but then there's also hate speech. And I just thought, this is crazy. I'm gonna just get up and say something. So just as he, that announcement finished, I went, hello, excuse me. Somebody in the chat, junglist, just said, this is an inclusive space. Get out. Exactly. I mean, they may as well have just had an announcement that said, women, you can come in, but don't you dare acknowledge that you're female. And please leave your sex-based rights at the door so we can pick them up and stomp all over them on the dance floor to a misogynistic beat. It's just, ugh. And then they dress it up in love and inclusivity and, oh, our special house of love. It isn't. This is a house of bigotry and hate. And I just thought, I'm not having this. I'm going to call that out right here, right now. So I got up and I said, excuse me, what's going on here? What is this? They stopped the music, and then the actors swiftly exited the stage. So I think maybe they rehearsed that or something, that they were maybe expecting some people to to not fall for that bullshit. And I just said, look, this is hate speech. This is hate speech against women. TERF is hate speech. Obviously, when we use TERF, we use it in the empowering sort of way, but obviously in the context of the show, and especially with there not even being a single sex female toilet and the trans ally stickers and all the they, them, he, she, it, whatever's all pronoun people on the leaflet. It's just, no, this was just full on woo woo. Funded by the Arts Council and the National Lottery Fund. So no, I just wanted them to know right there and then that as a gay man, I'm not down with that. That's because I did wonder, what impact is this going to have? I just thought they need to know that others who are so-called part of the LGBTQ plus whatever aren't down with this and will call it out there and then when it happens. So what else did I say? Well, straight away, a member of staff came up to me, female. She's quite a big girl, and she's just right in my face, and she's like pointing at the door and saying, "Can you take yourself outside, please? You will get a refund." Now, that to me is a funny phrase because I just in my mind I translated it into Dutch, and then it becomes a bit more literal. It's like, can you pick yourself up and literally take yourself outside? So that kind of made me laugh, and I thought, no, focus. And I just said, look, I can't believe this is happening. I want to know who wrote this, who produced this, and why this is funded. This is hate speech against women. I am an out and proud gay man, and I stand with TERFs every single step of the way. That was my key point. I wanted them to hear that from a gay man's mouth right there and then in the belly of the beast. Because obviously, if there's one, then there's more, and they need to know that. Then two other members of staff, also both female, came, and they're sort of, coming really close. They're closing in, so I'm sort of moving backwards, trying not to fall over. That was quite intimidating. But I just thought, try and get as much out as you can. So I said, what are you going to tell me next? That lesbians have penises, that gay men have vaginas. I said, this is homophobic, it's misogynistic, blah, 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 blah. Because the show is groove, I said, this is not the kind of groove I'm into. Now, initially, the audience was a bit surprised. Maybe they thought it was part of the performance, because I had my hair down, I had a massive hoop earring, had a little crop top. So I guess that way I was queer. But it says here on the leaflet, the dance floor is a place of protest. So, okay, let's put that into practice and protest on their own dance floor. Also online, it said it was a relaxed performance, meaning that as an audience member, Karen, your kidding rat is in the house. Hey, Karen, I'm so happy to see you. I hope you're well. We haven't, haven't seen much of you lately. I think I don't get notifications for you anymore, so I'll have to check that out. So yeah, then some audience members started jeering, and one went, "Go, go!" And one went, "Down the toilet with you!" And one went, "You're the hater!" And I just went, "A woman is an adult human female. A gay man is a male homosexual. If you deny that, you're the hater," or something like that. Or something like, "You're the ones who are denying that." And then again, I just repeated, "I am an out and proud gay man, and I stand with TERFs every single step of the way." And then doors closed. Obviously, there were 4 women there with me that afternoon, and one of them, and she did it in this really well-spoken way. She went, "Well, actually, I'm a fucking TERF, so I'm leaving too." So then she left, and then one of the other women went, "Yeah, me too." So she left, and then the other 2, and one of them said, "You're all a fine bunch of bigots. I thought this was meant to be an inclusive space." So obviously then all 5 of us left. It was just a little moment, okay? It was just a small little moment, but we need to do these things in those spaces, right? It's no good just talking about it amongst ourselves. We have to do it there and then. I think I'm so grateful that those 4 women were there with me to support me. So thank you so much. And hopefully, it made some people in the audience go, "Oh, what's going on here?" And as I said, hopefully the team behind this also, I'm just hoping it sort of pierces that echo chamber. And what really got me actually was how that announcement was delivered by a man claiming to be a woman, telling actual women who acknowledge being female that they're not welcome. And that to me sums it all up, this whole big shitty mess. So outside the auditorium, spoke to a member of the staff, one of the women that tried to, sort of get me out. And she said something like, "Oh, it's not very nice what you did. It's not very nice to disrupt a performance." And I said, "It's not very nice what was being said in there." So, and she said that I would get a refund. So I'm waiting for that. Um, sorry. I made the most beautiful soup last night. It's like a Tuscan bean soup, and now the beans are doing their work. Beautiful soup, though. Oh, someone in the house from Brazil, Anhedonia. Good evening, hola. Okay, so I had a chat with the young woman that was helping me with the refund. Miss Rigloom is asking what kind of tea. Actually, this is the Royal Blend from Fortnum and Mason's Darling, which was expertly blended for King Edward VII by Fortnum and Mason. It's a lovely tea. It's really smooth. Mm, it was a gift. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's Ceylon Pekoe leaf tea with Assam blended. Very nice. Anyways, so had a bit of a chat with her, and I just um, Nicole, you're asking Brazilians speak Portuguese, I think. Yes, correct. But in Portuguese, hi is hola, just as in Spanish. They don't have the H when you spell it, but hola, maybe it sounds a bit different. Anyways, so I just kept talking to her about it, saying I thought it was unacceptable. And she didn't know what to do with it because she's like, well, I didn't write it and I haven't seen the show. And I said, I'm aware of that, but you're platforming it. And she's like, well, no, we're just they're just using our venue as a pop-up. We didn't program this. Anyways, I said, look, can I speak to the manager? Because I really want to air my grievances about this. As a member of the LGBT blah 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 community, I find this offensive. Rah 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 rah. Turf is hate speech. Rah 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 rah. The manager was stood right next to us. So the manager goes, well, that's me. So I asked her, is there anything that I've said here that makes sense to you? And then she said, well, it's a very complex issue. So I just went, well, it isn't. Would you have a show on here where there's a big fat announcement, dramatic, hard with lights and sound effects, raw, and somebody says, no trans people in this house? I said, would you want to have that here? Would you put your name to that? You wouldn't, would you? This is no different. And I just said, there's so many women that are being excluded, particularly women, because in the message they said, no conservatives, no TERFs, no Karens, no religious bigots, no J.K. Rowling. Three of them are specifically aimed at women. And obviously, two of them, particularly at women who dare to acknowledge that the female sex is something that exists and that they're part of it. Also, this was in Bethnal Green, an area in London where there's a big Muslim community. So for them to also, say no religious bigots, or I guess you can only be religious if you practice religion according to the standards of groove. It's ridiculous. And I even wondered, is this somehow contravening the Equality Act? Is it discriminatory? But I don't know where the lines are with that and artistic freedom, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I just needed her to know I wasn't happy about it. So we chatted a bit more. And again, she said, well, it wasn't very nice to disrupt it. And I said, it wasn't very nice to hear this. I said, and she said, I'm so sorry you were triggered. And I just went, oh, yeah, good way. Yes, I was. Because I thought, okay, you kind of have to use that language against them sometimes. Um, so then I just said it's exclusionary and it's hate speech. And it also excludes a lot of, obviously, women, but a lot of lesbians who have adopted TERF as a term of empowerment now to fight back against the way it's being used as a form of abuse. And it also excludes the men who stand with them, like myself. So anyway, she gave me her details. So I'm going to take it up with her, with the company that put it up, which is Oxford House. I'm going to take it up with Shoreditch Town Hall, which is presented the show with Outbox Theatre. And Then I want to take it up with the Arts Council. So, and then we went to the pub, and then a bit after, some of the audience members was sat at the table next to us, just giving us evils. And I just went, "It's a great day to go turfing today." So yeah, they're not the only ones. Um, they're not the only ones. Definitely not. Uh, Now on Twitter, there is an account called "You're kidding, right? You're saying I love turf being used as a verb. You know what? I'm gonna do a song. We've got to keep turfing." And I want to sort of do a song to celebrate the legal wins that we've had on our side. Um, I think that would be nice and inspirational. We've got to keep turfing, keep on turfing, hashtag keep on turfing. Let's make that a thing. Let's get that trending. And to make turfing a thing to be proud of, to be unashamed of, to smile while you're doing it. It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful day to go turfing. Ba da 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 da. That's another one I shall work on. And oh, there was one thing I forgot to do though. I really wanted to go out by singing "You'll be a turf in time," but in the moment, there's so much that you kind of have to process. I forgot to do that. Anyways, um, what else did I want to say? Last Friday. Oh, sorry. There is a Twitter account, the mrmenno Appreciation Society. And they published a big thread about this. I think it's about 48 tweets, and then somebody else had some audio of me standing up and saying, "This is hate speech. I'm not having this." So that's somewhere on Twitter as well. So then last Friday night, I went into town in London to meet a bunch of gender critical, I'm not too keen on that word, but you know what I mean, gay guys. So there were 6 or 7 of us. And first we met in a pub in Covent Garden and just having a drink and a burger. And the guy that had organized it, he said, I thought we better meet here, in kind of like a straight pub and not in Soho, not in a gay bar, because, they might hear what we say. And I've heard somebody else, like a lesbian woman, once say to me that she's now scared to talk about stuff and she's constantly looking over her shoulder. So she's developing this sort of a mild social anxiety. And I said, it's exactly for that reason that we should be in gay bars. We should not have to feel scared to just openly talk about being gay and homosexual and same-sex attracted and all these things, and that we somehow don't know what a man or a woman is. Because if you keep quiet, then you're giving in. You're giving in to these bastards and you're giving them, that's their power. Their power is to silence us. So let's take that power away. Let's, as I said earlier, let's go into the belly of the beast and let's give him irritable bowel syndrome by turfing. So after the pub, we then went into Soho and we found a nice bar and we just had such a good time. It was so nice to be with a bunch of guys, gay guys, and just be able to say whatever we wanted about this stuff and not have to worry about how somebody might interpret it or call you a bigot and all this kind of stuff. As you know from, especially the women that I've met at protests and at Reformistry, once you meet and you just talk and you're bonding, it's such a wonderful thing. Now, I hardly ever drink, but on Friday I drank. I think I had 5 or 6 Southern Comforts and Cokes and Sambuca, a shot of Sambuca and a shot of tequila. Then we went to another bar. It was about 2 in the morning, I think, and just every guy I saw, I went, lesbians don't have penises. Lesbians don't have penises. Lesbians don't have penis. There is no such thing as a lesbian with a penis. God, I couldn't stop myself. There wasn't a single guy that went ooh or bigot or transphobe. They all went or gave me big smiles to say yeah. And again, that makes me think about how many of these guys they just need that little bit of permission to also say, I'm not down with this either, or I'm worried about this, or I read something about these bloggers, or J.K. Rowling this afternoon. I met a gay man um, for the very first time. Well, this particular one, and he's Scottish, right? So when I heard his accent, I'm like, oh, are you from Scotland? And he's like, yes. And I was like, oh, I know a word in Scottish, wished. And he's like, oh, how did you pick that one up? And I said, well, there was a hashtag trending a while ago, women won't wished. And he's like, yeah, I saw that. Then he starts talking about J.K. Rowling. Then he starts talking about mermaids and everything going, whoa. And then I said, oh, I've been to a couple of protests, for women. And he's like, good for you. And I'm like, you see, there's plenty of them. We just have to get them to start talking. So, oh, somebody just said, Menno, you're the turfinator. I love that. The turfinator. I mean, I never say that I'm a turf because I'm a bloke. Um, and I think this is a term, obviously, it's a gender term that's specifically used against women. So that's why I say I'm an outing gout. Outing gout? Hope I don't get gout. I'm an out and proud gay man. And I stand with turfs. So I'm gonna now get a sash made, like one of those beauty queen things, or they have it at hen parties, a sash that says I love turfs. And I'm just gonna walk around Soho with my I love turfs tash, just to bring the visibility to it. And with these guys that I met on Friday, hopefully, we'll meet again, and we'll get more guys involved because, and this is one thing. So just checking the time, I'll wrap it up soon. Obviously, I didn't see the rest of the show. I think that was rather probably for the best because the first 7 minutes weren't particularly impressive. Um, at the end of the show, somebody posted a clip of like the finale, which is the they them person, the girl. It was so obvious, with all their pronouns and all their get-ups, whatever. It was so clear who was male and who was female. 4 males, 2 females, and obviously the tallest person and the biggest with the biggest shoulders, bloke. Okay, despite the she/her pronouns. Um, Right. I wrote it down, right? So somebody posted a clip on Instagram of that last scene where she came forward and delivered a few lines. And she said this: we, the next generation, will not stand by as those in ivory towers deconstruct the work of our elders. We will build the houses on the foundations they laid, and we will thank them every single day for giving us this ability to live. So again, it's this whole stuff about, oh, we are the guardians of our legacy and our forefathers, our elders who fought so hard for us, and rah 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 rah. It's like what you're doing is you're deconstructing all the things they thought for. All these men, all these women who fought for their rights on the basis of sex and their same sex attraction. You're literally saying in the show, they're not welcome unless they embrace the woo woo and slap a trans ally sticker on their chest. It is so out of touch and so hypocritical and so self absorbed, at the same time claiming, oh, freedom, this and that. Oh, love, this is the house of love. Yet, if Fred Sargent had shown up there, would they have poured coffee over him like they did in the States? Would they have kicked him to the ground like they did in, I think it was Baltimore? These guys are so out of touch and such hypocrites and so vapid and self-righteous. It makes me sick. It actually makes me sick that they stand there with this monologue, pretending that they speak for our community, that they somehow own this history or have assigned, see, this is a good use of the word assigned, that they've assigned themselves the right to now to be the guardians and the protectors of everything that was one. And it's like, no, you're the ones deconstructing it. That's why that line kind of made me go, you don't know what you're saying, do you? When she said, we, the next generation, will not stand by as those in ivory towers deconstruct the work of our elders. Who is deconstructing the work of all those men and women who fought for gay rights? That is you. And those people in ivory towers are the likes of Judith Butler and Fausto Sterling, Mermaids, Stonewall, Susie Green, Ruth Hunt, the likes of Owen Jones. These are the ones deconstructing everything that was fought for. And then they say, we will build houses on the foundations they're laid. No, you're not. You're ripping the foundations apart. And why? What was their problem with deconstructing? Because that's what queer is all about. It's all about destructing every single thing until there's nothing left but a so-called safe space for their delusions and their little pronoun party. Someone's just said in Spanish, Menno, responda minha pregunta, please. Oh, please, Menno, respond to my question. What do you think about Gays Against Groomers? Gays Against Groomers, they are an organization that is so-called true trans. So they think that trans is a thing, and they support transitioning for adults. They've now also set up an adjacent, or what you call it, a sister organization called Trans Against Groomers or something. So I'm not keen on that at all, because you either reject it or you don't. So if they're in with the woo-woo, I don't want anything to do with it. I hope that answers your question. I mean, it sounded good, right? Gays Against Groomers, you're like, oh, great. And it's good to see people organizing and taking a stand and doing stuff. But we always have to look at, who can we trust? Where do they draw the line? And I'm very much, on Kelly J. Keen's side of things, no compromise. A man is an adult human male. A woman is an adult human female. A lesbian is a female homosexual. A gay man is a male homosexual. And if that's a problem for you, then I don't think you can be an ally in this. Oh, I've been radicalized. Okay, so Ellington, hello. Sorry, just about to go. Summer 29, you're listing some other people in the ivory towers, I think. Adrian Harrop, Benjamin Butterworth, David Paisley, Michael Cashman. I do want to do a video about specifically the gay men that are beating the woo drum relentlessly, and in my view, selling out their own. It's just absolute betrayal. So we need to know. We need to know who these. We need to look at these people and name them, and go like, what the hell are you doing? Which is why I'll do a video reacting to that Owen Jones rant. Okie dokie. So, is there anything else that I wanted to say? Right, just for the turf. So I'm just gonna. I have a friend who's staying because there's a train strike, and he's got a deep, bassy voice. So I'm just gonna close the door. Sorry, it was distracting me. What was I saying? Oh, yes. Particularly for gay men, stand with the women. Stand with the women in your lives. And if you've sort of been on the fence a bit and you don't know quite what to make of it, listen to the women, stand with TERFs, and say, say I'm an out and proud gay man, and I stand with TERFs all the way. Because the more gay men say that, the more we dispel this myth that all us gay people are somehow going along with this bullshit happily. We need to absolutely burst that bubble. Lesbians are already doing that. So I know there's a couple of gay guys who already do that, but make it absolutely unequivocal, explicit, and clear. We, as gay men, won't stand for this bullshit. And I think there's a lot more of us that don't go along with it than the ones that do go along with it. I think they just happen to be a bit louder. So let's get loud. Let's get loud. Okie dokie. Right. I think that's everything I wanted to say. So I'll be working on new videos from tomorrow. Yeah, that's it. So Misty Cats just said, just picked 2 gay men who had no idea. Good for you. Thank you. Okay. So that's almost, yeah, that's an hour. I need to get some food, and I'll be working on new content very soon. Butterfinger says, song, song, song. What? Well, that would be Keep on Turfing, which I've already done. Oh, I'm lost for words. That doesn't happen often. Anyways, let me go. I'm really hungry. So I need to, I've got peri peri chicken in the oven and it's calling my name. There'll be new songs this month, a couple of new videos. And I'm sorry again for having been a bit quiet, but it's just been a bit mental with the stuff that I've been working on for LGB Alliance and also for the Gay Men's Network. So it's like, it's been busy, and then going to the Netherlands and just trying to keep up with stuff. Like just as I'm sitting here, I've got at least like 200 messages to check on WhatsApp, and it's just like, hey, I can't just have to let that go sometimes, I think. Anyways, we'll speak again soon. In the meantime, let's keep it real, keep smiling, and most importantly, keep turfing. And